33 degrees out, and we had some pretty bad freezing fog this morning. So I wasn't sure how the roads are going to be pulling the mill, especially out into the countryside. But I wanted to say hi and let you know what's going on. We're heading out to mill up a black walnut that was already dead, and then a big windstorm came through and blew it down, and so the customer's gone ahead and bucked it up, and he's got one good log. It's about 22 inches wide by about 6 feet long, and then he's got some small branches that he wants to see if I can do something with them. So I'm going to go out and mill that up for him, and hopefully he'll be able to make something out of that walnut. In my hurry to get out the door this morning, I have to run in an errand. I forgot to put my boots on. You ever done that? Forgot to grab your boots. So this is what we've got. These little ones are really too small. We probably won't mess with those, but we'll try to see if we can get something out of those. And then he's got this one good log. Just need to put a band on her, do a little lube, and then we'll be ready to go. So I got to get that done and let the customer know I'm here and ready to go so he can come over and help out. First thing we got to do is we got to load this gnarly black walnut log onto the mill, and a 6-foot log's a little bit short, but we can get it on the forks to load it up. And this log wasn't really straight, as you can see, a lot of hooks and branches and things, but we left them on there on purpose. I told him I could go ahead and cut them off with the mill, and that gives me the opportunity to really maximize the usage out of this log, and I can make cookies for the customer out of branches and hooks and burls and things on the log, and they can be used for different things, clocks and signs and other things, and a lot of customers really like those. As you can see, I had to have the customer hold the log clamp claw out for me, otherwise it wouldn't actually reach in and grab the log very well. So you have to be careful when you do that, but once you do it, you can get the log to turn just fine. After we get the log cut down a little bit so that we've got a flatter surface on one side, then we could roll it up. Now this was a pretty unruly log, so you can see I really didn't get it rotated a perfect 90 degrees, and that's okay. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side of the log off and just flatten it out, and I'll just make some cookies out of it for the customer. I've only got one log. I'm going to try to maximize the use out of it for him for various woodworking projects. So really all I'm doing is just trying to whittle it down and get it to a manageable size. Then we rotate it again, and once we get it rotated up to the side supports, I'm going to try to get it as tight to those side supports as I can, and then start milling off the top. Now, I follow the idea that it's best to get the first two square sides of the log 90 degrees to one another. I know a lot of people will flip the log 180. I don't do that. That just takes more time. Instead, what I'll do is I'll get one side flat, jam it up against the side supports, make sure it's solid against the side supports, and then start cutting the next face. Of course, in this log, I had to really whittle it down a little bit to get it manageable. But once we got it to this point, then I'm very close to square at this point. So we're going to take some flitches out of it that we can mill and square up later. And once I get down to a decent opening face, I can then throw my carpenter square up there and see how close I am to square. Now, It looks like it's flat against those side supports, but it's actually off just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take a couple cuts, get a nice flat surface. Then I'll move that cant around a little bit so that I'm cutting the top at a slight angle, which will make it 90 degrees to the side. Once I've done that, I can work that down a little bit and I'll have a really nice 90-degree corner. After I've got that first 90-degree corner built, really don't have to check it after that again. I'll know that every time it's flat on the base and flat up against the side supports that I'm cutting 90 degrees to the perpendicular face. So it's really just the first two faces. I've got to get those perfect. And after that, everything's going to line up just fine. And then it's just a matter of starting to work down towards the cant. So I'm taking flitches off like you can see on the forks there. And those flitches I can either leave live edge for the customer if he's got some projects that he wants some live edge wood for, or I can put them back up on the mill and just edge them on the mill. And I'll do 5 or 6 at a time or more. I love that simple set. You know, I've got the simple set to 4/4 or 1 inch plus an 1/8. The 1/8 accounts for the kerf on the band itself, which is actually just a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch. But you can see it's a really nice feature. I've got 4 boards already. I'm working on the 4th here. And it's easy to do. Once you get down to the end, you lift the head up, pull it back, hit the down switch, and it automatically adjusts with the computer to the exact height that I need it to be at. Oh man, this thing is gorgeous. That is some beautiful grain here. Wow. What I'm talking about right there. Cough it up. Walnut dust. Yeah. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but holy cow. That is gorgeous. And while I'm at it, if you find these videos useful, if you learned something, if you enjoyed the video, I would really love it if you would hit that like button for me. It helps YouTube know to spread these videos around and let other people see them, and maybe there'll be someone out there who's looking how to run a sawmill and they'll see this video and learn something by it. So again, I'd really love it if you hit that like button for me. Thanks a lot for doing that. I appreciate it. the main log is milled all the way down to the bottom. We had a few branches that he wanted to mill up, and branches don't always dry very well. There may be some stress in them. They may not perfectly dry, but these are nice and short. They're a little over 3 feet. They're not very big, 9-10 inches wide, and so we went ahead and milled those up. Once they're dry, you can always put them on a joiner or put them on a table saw and get them squared up if they move a little too much. But they will provide some lumber that could be used for all kinds of different things, whether it's actual boards for something, or you might be cutting pieces out of them for legs on a table or butterflies or something like that. So there's all kinds of different uses for them, and in this case we wanted to try to maximize what we got out of this walnut tree for him so that he could try to turn it into something, and since it was something his dad really wanted to do, we tried to maximize it, get as much as we could out of it. One of the things you'll see there when he was flipping that over is there's a board on to the left of it on the bunks, and I call that a sacrificial board. You can kind of see it here. And all that is I needed something up against the side supports that would allow me to hold that short log, if you will, up against the side supports so that it didn't move around. If I cut into it, no big deal. And usually you can get 2 nice square faces, and then you don't need that sacrificial board anymore. But sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to put something in there just to hold it in place, and that's what I was doing right here. Folks, I got one more thing for you. In an upcoming video with some other great sawyers out there on YouTube, we're going to answer your questions. So if you have any questions about running a sawmill, about how we do the things that we do, turning logs into lumber, best practices, how to maximize production, how to take logs that look pretty gnarly and get them up on the mill, maybe how to mill huge logs or how to mill small logs. Whatever your questions are, put them in the comments, and we're going to take those comments and we're going to answer those questions for you. I look forward to doing it. I look forward to seeing your questions, and I do answer questions in the comments as well, but I think it's going to be fun putting together a video with these great guys and answering those questions for you. Well, it was supposed to warm up today, and it never did. Still 31 degrees out, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Got milling about 12:30. Had to take a couple longer breaks than usual. Really only milled a couple hours. Actually was getting a little frostbite on my little fingers. I couldn't feel my little finger in my left hand, and some of my other fingers were getting a bit cold. You know, it's funny, I've milled in some really cold weather, but I was better prepared for it. I was expecting a little bit warmer weather today, and I didn't have my insulated work gloves, and so that does make things a little tough. And I'll tell you, I don't know if the camera did the wood justice. I tried to film more of it. Gorgeous, gorgeous grains. That's big money wood right there. So, time to get back home and get warmed up and take a break. Hope everybody enjoyed it.